Evening folks, in this video we're going to put together this really simple modular synthesizer. We're going to hear it, just factory presets as it comes out the box, and yeah, so as a sort of primer, if folks are thinking, oh, do I want to get into modular, don't I, is it something for me, this is potentially a really simple one module synthesizer that you could dip your toe into the world of modular. Let's go. Evening folks, I have bought a box. This is the Doepfer A-100. This is, when it comes to eurorack, pretty much the most basic kind of enclosure you can find. It is a plywood box. Is it plywood or whatever? Cheap, inexpensive wood. Has a power supply there. And it has this kind of board inside it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to power 8 modules. And obviously metal rails top and bottom for screwing in your modules. In terms of eurorack, about as simple and utilitarian as it comes. I picked this up secondhand from somebody that was going to set up a modular rig, but obviously never got around to it. So I got the power supply with it. I got some ribbon cables with it. Happy days. What I thought it'd be good fun is to prepare a tiny little modular synthesizer in this box, and see what we can do there, as a kind of primer or exemplar for anyone that's interested in getting into modular and sort of setting up a little instrument in a tiny little enclosure like this. Before I do that though, just because this is just basically it's a wooden box is what it is. I am going to customize this. I'm actually going to dye it with ink. All right, let's take a look at the box. So this has been dyed with just, what is this? Some brand of black ink that I got from the Poundland. But the case has come up quite nice. You can see I've got a little handle on here so I can pick it up and carry it around. There's the back. I think what's nice about this ink staining is you can still see the wood grain. I mean, it's not beautiful wood. I mean, it's fine. You can still see the grain, but it just looks a bit more interesting than just like the original wooden box. You see a bit of bleed around the label there, but I can live with that. It's had 2 coats of linseed oil, so you can see there's a bit of a sheen to it. So that'll give it a bit of resilience in the old studio. But I think we are ready to make a synthesizer. Because the A100 is just a little tiny case, we want to get as much bang for our buck in terms of space. Because we don't have a big rack to play with. So the noise making module I've gone for is Brains from Behringer. Here we go. So Brains is, I'm not an expert, my understanding is that Brains is Behringer's implementation of braids. I'm sure someone will correct me if I'm wrong. So mutable instruments, braids, mutable instruments do make a lot of their stuff available in open source. And again, I'm sure you'll correct me if I'm wrong, but some of the braids code, I guess, for want of a better word, has gone into the Micro Freak, I think. I'll actually research this when I'm editing it and find out that I'm completely wrong. So what we're looking at here is like a little tiny modular version of the Micro Freak. Maybe. I have no idea how this sounds or even how to use it. So I've got my Behringer TD3 up here, which I'm using as a USB to CV converter, and we are going to try and get some noises out of it. Alrighty, so set up. I've got Reaper going out to my USB interface, MIDI cable from the USB interface into the TD3. The black cable is CV out on the TD3. That's going into volts per octave in. Easy peasy. This brown cable comes out of gate out, and that goes into the input marked trig, which stands for trigger, I am guessing. That makes sense. Main out here goes to the mixer. Easy peasy, squeezy lemons. I can hear a really boring sounding sine wave. So that's literally plugged brains in, haven't done anything, haven't changed anything. I guess we can just have a play, can't we, without this video being too long. Copper strong. I don't really know what I'm doing, but clearly there's an A bank of various different algorithms for making sounds, which I think by the sounds of it are all digital. Like, it's just like a digital, there's like a sine, I guess, but it's a digital implementation, and then various other flavors of sort of synthesis techniques and synthesis methods. And there's the red bank, which and there's also this green bank which you select with the bank control, which is a bit more percussion based. So that's cool. So it's not only a little synthesizer for making, like, you know, pitched stuff, it's also a little synthesizer for doing rhythmic stuff. That's cool. No reverb plumbed in, so you're just hearing it. Just hearing it straight out the module. Now I've got some little controls here, but literally don't know what they do. I don't know what that is. It sounds like bubble wrap, doesn't it? I like it though. It's cool. But what we've done is we've made a tiny little synthesizer. It would be kind of interesting to make a track using just this. That's maybe that's for the part 2 of the video, and then I think we need to start giving this some buddies to play with, because obviously we've got other inputs here. We've got 2 outputs for some reason, and again I'll read the manual, but yeah, this could be your first modular synthesizer. And actually, you know, Brains has got a lot, there's a lot going on there. Let's wrap the video up here. The observational viewers amongst you will notice I've deliberately left a gap here. That's deliberate. And maybe we'll dig into that in the second video. Or was that part 3, part 4? I don't know. And obviously, big gap here. That's also deliberate, because we'll add some stuff in. So we can get a whole series out of this little box, can't we? Get a whole series. But there we go. Let's call it a day. If you're new here, you're very welcome. This is what we do. We play with stuff, and we don't really know what we're doing, but we just learn by doing. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Cheerio.